I've never said this story, but after 12 years, to the extent that you people continue to sit down and let John Mahama and his boys play the victim as if I'm the bad person. Mr. Newman, after 12 years, I'm mentioning your name. Uncle Ato, after 12 years, I'm mentioning your name. Because I will not allow them to play the victim any longer as if I'm the bad person. I have always been the victim. But for the sake of cohesion, I have kept quiet. Paul, when I left Uncle Ato's house that morning, and I didn't commit suicide, it is not in my DNA to commit. Look, I couldn't believe it.
What did you tell me?
And then the first sensota upon Chania war de war, I was here for a year, a year Samuel, Koku Anyidoho, first no, not just a founder and a president at the late at a Mills Institute. One on a Sabri, what didn't send me a better a share. What's not say, dear, and Shahama, Sabio, and Emma Bebrina, afana say, so be a car, same be not say, Bonia, who one is on the campa at Tagen or Nelso, and assume although an incabumunti, no, I cannot to Moody, Nelso say, dear Debbie, one young Shaha, a beauty. Says, "Oh, Coswa yan shaha, any ever Coswa, adding a second, Edran Nanka, no, Timus a share, a brother late at a mills, a wee ya will no pan and to me, and shan one confident, and who say, and no one casan, a one a bra bone and a set nemono, a confusher enim, a son said, bra will no, just said the late at a mills, a free mono. 2 days prepare any friend so say, ye in the position every abaying more. I was here, what can't send be at church and Nadine, Eddie afa ebin so ehun yenkwe na yensie inya bema Koku Anyidoho Embra.
About me and John Mahama. Why he and his people always try to play the victim as if I have issues with them. Let me tell you, Paul. President Mills died on 24th July. 26th July in the morning, around 6 a.m., I got a call from Okujeto Ablakwa. Not that we were that close, but he calls to say, oh, I'm just checking on you. Okay. Well, I accept it. 2-3 minutes later, I get a call from Omani Boama. Omani Boama and Ablakwa at the time were two sides of the same coin. Omani was very frontal that, well, Sami called you and he couldn't tell you what he should have told you. But anyway, yesterday, so which means 25th, the man died the day after. We had a meeting with the new president. And a decision has been taken. He says he cannot work with you.
Oh, wow.
Yes. This is Omani Boama, an MPP boy who came through CJA.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Suddenly is calling me to tell me that the new president, and of course, subsequently the new president collapsed Information Ministry, added the communication and gave to him. Today he's collapsed the IT, added it to Election Directorate and given to him. So Omani is his real right-hand man. So Omani says the president says that
he cannot work with you.
And that for obvious reasons, he cannot work with you.
What were those obvious reasons?
He didn't state.
You should know.
And that, I don't know.
But he says it's obvious.
It wasn't obvious to me. And that by close of day, I'll be informed. So I should consider some 3 parastatals that I'll be shifted to as either deputy CEO or CEO. But as for the castle, I should forget it. I can't stay there any longer. That's how the conversation ended. Of course, at the end of that day, I didn't get a call. Three days later, I drove to Mr. Atuahoy. And this is the first time I'm mentioning his name at Westlands.
His home.
His home. I got the same information. Oh, Koku, you know, Prof is dead. And John says he cannot work with you. So are you going to go back to the bank?
Wow.
Yeah.
After that
after this number of years, go back to the bank. Uncle Atu, well, you know, this is what John is saying. Hey! Paul, when I left Uncle Atu's house that morning and I didn't commit suicide, it is not in my DNA to commit. Look, I couldn't believe it.
What did you tell Messi?
The third one was Henry Martin Newman. Today I'm opening up.
Oh, the chief of staff.
Yes.
Your man.
Now,
your boss.
Between Atuahoy and Omani, this was even before the burial of President Mills.
Yes, the date you are mentioning.
Yeah, before the burial. Martin Newman's own was after the burial.
What did he say?
The same message. And this was in his official bungalow. at cantonments, Chief of Staff Bangala.
Yeah, where Chief of Staff.
So he asked to see me and I went. The same story that, well, his own started that, well, Sani, oh, you leave. Oh, believe, no, you leave for some 6 weeks. By the time you come back, we shall consider your political future. Mr. Newman, I've never said this story, but after 12 years, to the extent that you people continue to sit down and let John Mahama and his boys play the victim as if I'm the bad person. Mr. Newman, after 12 years, I'm mentioning your name. Uncle Ato, after 12 years, I'm mentioning your name. Because I will not allow them to play the victim any longer as if I'm the bad person. I have always been the victim. But for the sake of cohesion, I have kept quiet. But after 12 years, I will mention the names. Then the whole world know that the victim that John Mahama is playing is fake. I am the real victim. So Martin Newman tells me that John Mahama says that he cannot work with me, so I should leave the presidency. At that point, I said, well, Omani has told me, Uncle Atu has told me, Martin Newman, you are telling me, please go and tell the president that I'm not going on leave and I'm not leaving the presidency because we have an election to win and I have to protect the legacy of President Mills.
You were defying the new president?
Well, he hadn't spoken to me.
You can't do that.
Oh, listen, let me finish. So that's how I responded. I said, I'm not going anywhere. However, I'm a very regimented person. And you are a lawyer and an astute administrator. When President Mills wanted to appoint me, he got you to write to me officially.
So write.
And
sack me.
So that when I leave the presidency and I step out and anybody asks me, Koku, why have you left? Because the whole ploy that go on leave it was a ploy. Immediately you leave, they will say you have left. You don't like John Mahama. That's why after the death of President Mills, you have left. Now, there's something I haven't told you. The day President Mills died, Paul, by the time I returned from the Tech 7, my father, General Anyidoho, was seated in my office at the castle.
What did he tell you?
He had come to look for a son.
For what?
Who he knew that would be traumatized because of the death of his political father. He came, gave me his ties to whip on. But when he finished, you know what he told me? Koku, the president is going to be sworn, the new president is going to be sworn in tonight. You are not allowed to stay away from the swearing in. You will go to that swearing in. So gather yourself as a man and go to the swearing in. I know what I'm telling you as a father. Don't stay away from the swearing in. Paul, I obeyed my father and didn't stay away from the swearing in. Everything we could do to support John Mahama to take over. But after he got sworn in, this is what I had to go through. So I told Martin to write.
Yes, did he write?
Of course, that letter never. You know, you are doing this job and people are giving you some epithet, the bull. So people think that Tafla is a bull, Ujibo. So they can, corner you. So
has the letter come till today?
The letter didn't come.
Till 2016?
It never came.
Why didn't you ask to see John Mahama himself?
As president?
Yes, why didn't you ask Omani that, okay, I hear you, but I would like to talk to President Mahama?
I mean, my position was that, to the extent that he himself hasn't told me anything, so I'll stay there and work. But of course.
You can't stay there and work.
So I stayed.
Okay.
And that is why after 2012 victory, they moved to the Flagstaff House. If you want to stay at the castle, stay there.
So you didn't go to the Flagstaff House?
Who was going to? I didn't even know they were going to move. I came to office one day. They had moved. So even as a remnant at the Flagstaff House, one afternoon, Valerie Sawyer sends me a message. About 3 p.m., the message came. I should make sure that by close of day, I pack out of the castle.
She as Deputy Chief of Staff?
I don't know what post she was holding at the Flagstaff House. But you, Valerie, it was because of your father. Otherwise, in the Kuku Hill campaign itself, did you ever follow us on any campaign trail?
But that was her house.
Fine. So President Mills rewarded your father